Excellence. Thank you for having me on your show.
Sure, I'm honored to have you. Again, a lot of people know you as the designer, la star, everybody who has worn some kind of designer clothing, especially here in the US and maybe across, knows you. But for someone listening to us who doesn't know much about you, who would you say you are? How can you introduce yourself?
Well, yeah, as you formally introduced, my name is Stanlo Akisah. My friends call me Lion, or at least that's my kind of name. I hail from Bamako and grew up in Bamenda in Cameroon. Been in the United States for a minute. I'm a married gentleman with three kids. My background is nursing. I was a nurse for about 15 years before transitioning into fashion. Been into fashion for about 7 years as of now. Currently, the creative director at Stanlion Clothing, which has been in existence since 2016.
Wow, that's a big one. Earlier today, we were just talking. I was talking with my sister on our House of Child Girls live show, and we're talking about doing what you have to do while you find that passion. In the little introduction you've just made, I can see that deep within you, you are a designer. But
Yeah,
yes, you did nursing for those years that you have to do and switch to what you do, and now you do it with a lot of love.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah. Fashion and design has always been something. For me, it was natural, right? Growing up, even back in school, remember in high school, in PCHS Bameda, I used to design my own uniform differently. I started designing my uniform to look like a suit back then. I'll get in trouble with it in school, but I'll go to my tailor, and I have him put some special effects on my jacket to just look different. But when I got to this, I went to nursing school. I actually really loved being a nurse or being in healthcare. Being in healthcare,
Mm.
I actually always wanted to be a medical doctor, but because of the shortcomings of our country and everything, I went to nursing school back home at St. Louis Institute, then moved to the States, and then went through the whole ropes. Did it, with all my heart, but generally, I just figured at some point the answer was no for me. If I asked myself, do I want to retire doing and then that answer was no, and then I had to figure out what was that passionate thing that I can do, that I jump up and wake up every morning with no hesitation to take it full head on.
Wow, and that was fashion and design for you, and that is fashion and design for you.
Absolutely.
Great, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So again, you went on already and you've spoken about what led to it. But do you, by any chance, you said this started since when you were back in Cameroon in
Mhm.
secondary school, high school, how you design your uniforms. What would you say was the motivation for you? Where did you pick this from? Is it something that innate, or when you were young, did you see something that inspired you and you wanted to just follow that route? Where did the motivation for fashion and design come for you?
So for us as young boys growing up, back in school, I think it's something natural generally that pushes you to, if it's really something that you're passionate about, there will be something natural that comes from it. But I think for me, growing up, going to school, and my clique of friends, we always love to dress, especially on Sundays, going to church, go to Catholic church. We wanted to impress girls and things like that. When we started dating and stuff, I would trek from my 3 to Bailey just because I wanted a bigger crowd. I wanted to show off my look for that Sunday. So I think it was something natural and inborn. But you know how it is when you're back home. We were not born in environments where our own creative natural things were encouraged, so to say. It's unfortunate but that's the kind of situation, that's the kind of environment that we found ourselves in. And so we're only known to say go to school, and be a doctor, be a lawyer, be this and that. But the natural art that we actually have has not been encouraged either in our schools or in our families back home.